listen, y'all. Come on for the walk. Or get your mat, get your chair, line up if you're walking wall to wall.
Power on.
Whew.
Bluetooth mode.
Last 45-minute walk for some time. Yeah. Oh. Ooh, we got the heat on, y'all. Uh-oh. Well, let me see something. If I stop walking, y'all, the game trip me up. Yeah. Come walk with me and save your. Yeah, guitar in the morning, y'all. Yeah. Okay. I said, come walk with me. Ooh. Save your feet and toes. Cause if I stop walking down, they cut me up. Let me get rid of my ginger. Yeah. My ginger honey. I pop it in my mouth every morning. Great raw, isn't it? Yes, yes, yes. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Let's get this party started right, honey. Thanks for coming on the walk. Thanks for liking. Thanks for subscribing. And thanks for following. I don't basically like the term following. Thanks for taking the interest, Facebook, in my videos. And I have a new person who has an interest in my videos. And I thank you very much. I don't like followers because I am not a leader. I'm a human being that's closer to separation. And ain't mad about it. But while she's here, she's going to take care of this matter. Because this matter is what matters to her. Okay. Yeah. Ooh. Yes. Where to start, where to start? Oh. Vibrations have been high, y'all. Whew. So, but I gotta preface it with this. My mother, as I told y'all before, I'm not a baby boomer. I am a migrant. My mother, they ran out of Virginia. A penal state, but this is a penal colony, but they didn't know that. And they ran to New York, which is also another penal state. And they didn't know that till they got there and they said, oh, so it's almost the same. Yeah. So, when they did the whole thing on TV and we had to look at it in school, and we came home, we talked to my mother, she said, the moon landing, she said it didn't happen. And I remember all the neighbors like, yeah, it was on a TV, they went up. And my mother said, no, it didn't happen. She didn't give a reason, but she said it didn't happen. And the reason why I remember that, because she is the only one that said it didn't happen. And she was firm in her conviction. So when the hospital came out and said it was shot in the studio, I thought back to my mother. I said, you was right. But then I asked, well, why would this penal colony and then lower than life, Hatfield, McCoy, and Douglas, Warden, Patty Rollers, and overseers do such a thing? And that answer came quickly to me. That's how they established themselves as world powers. By going into the studio and pretending to be on the moon, and all these countries fell for it, fell in fear of this penal colony, and started bowing down. That simple act just made them a world power. Going into the studio and saying, we went to the moon, we landed on the moon, jump around. But the thing that makes them even this penal colony a greater world power is the fact that they have been able to be conquerors to this day of the most fiercest fighters, conquerors, etc., etc. over their descendants. And that's the fear. These world countries think that when these penal colonies and these junkyard dogs go out here and they'll start doing all that conquering and shit, they think they was like, oh yeah, we're scared. If they got all them black people bowing and scraping, zoned out, shooting them in the voting line, it gotta be something to them. We're in fear of them. Ain't that something? So this penal colony in there, Hatfield McCoy Duggar wardens, patty rollers, and overseers, they use us as part of their weaponry when they're going. And the ancestors said they done had enough of you. Stop. There's so many ways you can make money. Besides going over to them and acting like conquerors for a land that you are conquered in. Okay, let me say that again. You join these junkyard dogs when they go out and they conquer these countries. And we're standing there, our children are standing there, acting as conquerors. When you're not. When you get home, you're the conquered. When you get home, you can't vote without a gun in your face. When you get home, if you do vote, your vote don't count for nothing but the numbers for them to use as a rope to turn around and put on your neck and squeeze you. How can you go out with these folks conquering these countries and come back to this penal colony and be the conquered people? It don't make no damn sense. Ancestors said, stop it. Them Duggars, LDS, one man is making enough. 400 or 500 kids? Hell, send their ass. But no, ancestors, they be vibing to me. They're a little sicky. No. This is how the ancestors felt when you said marching into Normandy and everybody's cheering for you. No. They were saying, wait a minute. Y'all finna sit on the back of the bus when y'all get back home. Y'all finna not be able to get no loans. When y'all get back home, they be done burnt down y'all farms. How y'all walking around in the parade saying you're a proud conqueror? Or savior, they like to use that term. When you can't even save yourself at home. So stay out of it. If you gotta fight, fight to stay out of it. So, now, my mother did something else. Like I tell you, she used to smoke, take her little pack of Salem and her cigarettes, and she came from Virginia, had a little drink, and she would sit in the dark, and sometimes she would just sit there, and sometimes she would cry. And she would just sit in the dark. And she couldn't understand. She just couldn't understand. She left one place, came to a worse place. she just couldn't understand it. Again, as I told you, I wish I knew. I said, Mommy, this is a penal colony. Everywhere you run, you're going to hit the same thing. There's laws and edicts all over the place. And you're labeled born in blood inmate criminal. So wherever you go, you have been criminalized. So you can't go nowhere. And we're a conquered people. That's why y'all can't have no ammunition. You can't have none of these things. And why these white people have sometimes over 200 guns and everything, napalms and everything in their house. Because they have to. They have to. When called on, when the conquered people decide to not be conquered anymore, and this penal colony code puts out a call, those folks is coming with all their ammunition. But what the ancestors want me to tell y'all is don't let that fear you. I was speaking to Jimmy. Don't let that bring fear to you. Because folks was winning and losing wars without guns. I done told y'all before, I done posted because I done did some research. I wanted to know what was mightier, a gun or a flame. And through all my research, I found out the flame is. So the ancestors said, for us to focus on us. This political stuff, I can't even tell you how happy I am. I can't even tell you how happy I am I'm out of it. Can you imagine being mind-fucked since the age of 19? Voting, thinking it's your responsibility to vote. If you don't get what you want, it's because you didn't vote. If you didn't get what was in your neighborhood but you, it's because you didn't vote. But I was so blinded, I couldn't see. Even by voting, I still wasn't getting them things. I still wasn't getting those things. I won 40 acres and a mule. And every time I voted, that's the advancement, but I didn't realize as a conquered people, you're not going to get that. You're not getting that. These HBCUs up there in Congress that's using that money, they throw money at them. And it keeps their programs going. And it mind fucks us. But it's not going to happen. You're a conquered people. Your ancestors were brought here as prisoner of war of the European crowns. And every child they had afterwards was enslaved and labeled a born in blood inmate criminal on this penal colony. And when, as they said, the Civil War happened, let me tell you, on the other end, we were now considered conquered people, zoned to designated areas. They used the word ghetto, and you fell for it. No, it's not. It's designated areas. My daughter had to become her own realtor in order to get a house in a neighborhood where the taxes wasn't so high. But the good houses were relegated to the conquerors, not the conquered. So she became a real estate agent to find something decent in a low tax area. And it was an acceptable area for the conquered people. Us. So move that term racism stuff. I know that's some German Ethiopian bullshit. No, not racism. It's the facts of the situation. Chance today, y'all probably won't see the walk. Because it's YouTube today, it was Facebook yesterday. So, yeah, they said, tell them. Wouldn't it, okay, I'm glad I broke up because I don't want to tell you the way they wanted me to tell you because they would definitely shut down my live. So I'll tell you how I reasoned with them to tell you. You know when there's a bully in the courtyard? Oh, no. This is what I'm doing. When I was a child, I was at this camp all by myself because I wasn't old enough to go to the camp where my sisters was. I had to wait a year. So I went to this for 2 weeks to this camp all by myself. Can't remember the name. And I had all the little girls together. We had the shower and everything. And it came to be that the one with the biggest stomach was the leader or the bully. Now, I didn't have a big stomach because my mother pretty much regulated. We couldn't go in the refrigerator unless she said go. And so we didn't know about just opening the refrigerator and eating what we want. So they had big stomachs. So there's one girl, she had a really big stomach, and she used to go around punching and beating people up. She and I didn't have any problems because I'm an empath. I'm just telling you. Everybody laugh when the kids take the magnifying glass and burn the ants. I'm crying for the ants. My sister used to pick up daddy long legs and pull off their legs, and when I watch it, I would start crying. I just couldn't understand it. They used to do a lot of dog fighting in my neighborhood. So we would always see, and they would just turn the dogs loose. So you'd always see a sick dog walking down the street. Oh gosh, I'm almost crying now. To find some place to go and lay down and die. So, that was hard. Anyway, so I always been in the path. So when she was beating up the other kids, I was crying because I was like, why are you hurting them? What did they do to you? So she never really messed with me. But one day, this kid she used to pick on all the time. All the time. And the kid said, no, we're going to stop this right now. And she started fighting back. And then, all of a sudden, all the other kids she was bullying, it was close to the end of 2 weeks, all the other kids, we used to call them, jumped her. They jumped her. These were all the kids that she had punched, talked, called names, to snatch food off the plate, and all kind of wild shit. But one day, that one kid that was being bullied started punching back. And then there came another kid. And then another kid. And she wasn't fighting that one kid that she used to bully. She was fighting 3 of the kids that she used to bully. Then a 4th kid came that she used to bully. Then a 5th. And next thing you know, she was on the ground. They was kicking and stomping her. I'm trying to convey to you what the ancestors is vibing with me is. When you stand up to the bully, they done bullied other people. So you're not fighting alone. You're never going to be fighting alone again. And I'll tell you why. When I remember when we come back from our water break. I said I'm walking now, trying to save my feet and cause if I stop walking now, ooh, y'all, it feels good to feel heat. Oh, I gotta tell y'all about that too. But when you're in the zone area, it's to be expected. Trying to save my feet and toes. Don't miss out. I said I'm walking, y'all, trying to stay ahead of the sugar cane. If I stop walking, yeah, oh, Mr. Rod Jackson on the guitar. Maestro. Come walk with me. 7-string guitar. And save your feet and toes. Yeah, I said come walk with me. Save your feet and toes. Cause if I stop walking now, they'll cut me up until I'm just a nose. Yeah. So the ancestors vibe with me. And he said, tell them. You see, they're the ones that dropped these bombs on Hiroshima. They're the ones that went into Korea. They're the ones that went into Vietnam. They're the ones that occupied Hawaii and made the Hawaiians occupy race, and the conquerors have all the good land, all the good crops, all the good things, just like here. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's the same thing. But one thing about bullies, they got a lot of enemies. And they just waiting for someone to set it off. The ancestors wanted me to get that message to you. So don't be afraid when you hear these elections coming up. What they going to do. What they need to be careful not to do is poke the bear. Poke the lion and let him see his teeth. Okay? So that's what they was wanting me to tell you. No. No. It's not like that. Okay? Like that little girl at summer camp. I just remembered it. Like I said, I cried. If you stand next to me and you punch somebody, the tears are going to start rolling down my eyes. I'm going to try to stop you from punching them and shit. But I'm going to be, because it hits me so deeply. That's when I found that word impact. I was like, oh, that's what it is. So, it's something, y'all. I'm just glad. And now I understand how nature works. I'm glad that I'm learning all this and getting information and as I'm standing close to the exit. Oh my goodness. I can't even tell you. I really can't. Had this sunk in when I was really young enough to do something. Oh yeah, honey. But it's coming through now, and I'm happy, and that's all I'm sharing with you. I had all these questions when I was young. As I told y'all, follow the hate. The ancestors kept saying, I was like, no, I'm looking at proud African history and blah, blah, blah. I'm building a theme park to share the history, the proud history and the heritage of the African people in America. And I even for a while used to call us Africans in America. But I'm glad that I'm standing near the exit door. As more of these epiphanies, these revelations come through, and it all centers back around my mother. Now, because she didn't know, she would hold me and she's crying, I don't know why they're doing this, I don't know why they're, and I was like, Mommy, I'm 66, but I got the answers. So I'm sharing them. I'm not in your little bullshit game. Hatfield, McCoy, Douglas, dumb shit that you do the same dumb shit over and over again every year. Ugh. Whew. Now, we're not doing this. Talking about my mother. And what I couldn't tell her when she as an adult shared, just laying there in her arms, or if the adults are there sitting under the table or a chair somewhere where nobody can see me and I can hear everything. She and the other ones, you know, they used to go, this van, I told y'all about the van. They used to come to East New York and pick them up and take them to New Jersey to clean these German Ethiopians' houses. And they had such a love, I'm not going to say hate, but a love and mystery like. I can explain like that, like sometimes they would be so nice to my mother. So nice. Almost a kinship. Like a shit. And then in the next breath, treat her like she's lower than a dog. She couldn't understand, and they couldn't, because the aunts and stuff, they used to all talk about it. You know, it's like one day sitting you home with all these foods and all these gifts, and then the next day threatening to fire you because you didn't put a lamp back the right way. And they couldn't understand it. How could it run? They used to say running hot and cold. But it wasn't, Mommy. It wasn't. It wasn't running hot or cold. It wasn't doing that. It wasn't running hot or cold. When you tapped into the African in them, they loved you. And they respected you. And they remembered your history. And when they went back and they ran into the German side, uh-oh, look at that foot. And they ran into the German side, they treated them like shit. But they didn't understand that these were people of two sides. They didn't say mixed race. Because even I know how to deal with a mixed race person. Sometimes that when an African hit, they love me. And then sometimes when that European hit, they don't. They're conquerors. And I'm the conquered. But with them, I know. With the German Ethiopians, my mother didn't know. And then they just finally got tired because back in the 60s, they was even saying, if you're black adjacent, something's wrong with you. But they didn't tell my mother and them that. They told them they wanted to learn to speak Spanish, and if they brought the Spanish people in from South America, they can learn Spanish, and blah, 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 blah. But what it really was they couldn't have my mother and them working in their houses anymore. This penal colony was saying that if you love the African, then you must have some African within you. And they didn't want to take that chance. I would say they're the biggest passers. They're the biggest passers. Yeah. So, my mother didn't understand. And I would tell her now, like I'm telling you, Mommy, no. It had nothing to do with you. It had nothing to do with that land. It had nothing to do with it. Sometimes there was African, and sometimes there was German. That's all it is. That's all it is. It wasn't you. It wasn't your skin. None of that shit. It wasn't none of that. And just like for us here, it has nothing to do with our skin. It has everything to do with our history and why we're on this penal colony. And now, treated, because that's what the treatment is, of an occupied person. Not on the land that we own or came from, but this penal colony where our ancestors were brought to. That's why they say they give you loans now, but the interest rate is insane. There's nothing going to change because it's in the documentation, this edict of the penal colony, of a conquered people. You're not getting reparation. You're not getting 40 acres in the middle. You're not getting none of that. You're a conquered people. And when you go out, they know you as a label, born in blood and made criminal. Your vote does not count. Not to help you, but to help them to make a rope and put it around your neck and strangle you. And I apologize. I apologize. I'm so sorry from the bottom of my heart. I would not have voted. I would not have voted so long. So long. I was so blinded. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was voting and they was taking us, just like they're doing now, in districting. But the ancestors want me to tell y'all to remember the story about the little girl bully. Went around beating everybody. She even had her entourage because everybody she beat up, if they couldn't beat up, they got on her side. And then there were some kids that just kept kicking and stomping. She kept beating them up, fighting them, punching them, stealing their food. She couldn't be part of the entourage. And then, she couldn't take it no more. We was just getting ready to leave. 2 weeks was up. And Bully came back around and bought her entourage. Ha! And started beating that girl. And that girl said, not today. And she started swinging back with all her might. I'm kind of seeing the picture, you know? And then another little girl came, and she started punching it. I don't know, I thought they was friends. But she had really kind of beat her up in the beginning. And then the other ones came. And then the other ones came. And next thing I know, she was on the ground, stopped kicking, the counselors coming over, pulling everybody else. She went to the nursing station. Ancestors say, don't forget that. Sometimes you just need to set it off. Sometimes you just need to set it off. So don't let these elections and all that stuff get to you. Your vote don't mean nothing. I'm a witness. I ain't talking out my asshole. I'm talking from being a registered voter from 19. Fighting from all the freedoms. Women's freedoms, this freedom, that, reparations, 40 acres removed, this, da, 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 da. Nothing. They got everything. They got us rezoned. And oh yeah, the SS said, whew, okay. They said that I should focus on Mississippi. If, to use an example of a conquered people. And how they're zoned. They're zoned in a place where nobody makes any money. Dirty, filthy water. Nothing taken care of. And then you have the conquerors. Their water's clean. Their governments ran well. They got their houses, they got their jobs, they're making the money. And then the other side, the conquered people. Conquered people ain't even got no clean water. But you're conquered. That's what it is. You're not going to have the same freedoms. You're not going to have the same rights. Stop going with this bullshit story. Liberty and all, blah, 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 blah. Vomit. Ah. That's for them. We didn't come here like they came. They came here and said they were starving when we know when they came here, every port had either a load of prisoner of war coming in from the Brits or a load of prisoner of war Africans coming in from the French. Or a load of African American prisoner of wars coming in from Spain, or did I say the French? Did I leave out the Dutch? That's how they came out of Africa and went into Europe. And that's why you have the penal colony of, the Virgin Islands. No, it's not. It's a penal colony. European control, then the Dutch this, back. They go back and forth. I go through the history of these things. They call it like luxury vacations, but they have to explain the history. Penal colony, Antigua. Penal colony was a Spanish penal colony. There was a French penal colony. Dominican Republic. Spanish penal colony. Haiti. French penal colony. AKA USA, AKA America, penal colony. Puerto Rico. A Spanish penal colony that was conquered by these junkyard dogs. And now they are conquered people. That's why when the storm comes through everything, you don't mean nothing. Jamaica. penal colony. And you can tell penal colonies because penal colonies where the people are conquered because only the conquerors have money, only the conquerors have land. The people don't have nothing. You're conquered. They ain't gonna give you nothing. And if you don't take it, and if you let them keep coming on your land and acting like they conquering you, look at the hotels and stuff like that. Gorgeous hotels and everybody around it eating dirt. That's how you can tell a penal colony. There's more. I said the Virgin Islands, Barbados, Jamaica, Cuba, it's a Hispanic penal colony. Cuba, what else? There's a few more. Okay, but you get my drift. And they're conquered people. So yeah, we got the heat back on. And I had to sit back and let my daughter learn this lesson. We are relegated to a zoned area. And not only, they keep saying voting, but it's no. It's supplies, it's maintenance, it's utilities, it's zoned because you have the conquered people that ain't priority, it's the conquerors that are the priority. So, but being on this penal colony longer than a minute, I know. I was looking at TV in New York when they came out and they said, no heat. They said on this penal colony, you can't do that to the conquered people anymore. You just can't say, we're going to cut off their heat, we're going to cut off their supplies, screw them. They used to. Because the conquerors, their houses are priorities, and it's the same thing. Stop talking about that race. It has nothing to do with race. Those are the conquerors. They get the best. They get the first. They get the... So I had to let my daughter find out for herself. She was, oh, I'm making an appointment in 8 days. And I was like, dang. No. But I had to let her, she was like, yeah, Ma, and the weather's going to be okay. And I'm walking around here in blankets, 2 pair of pants, 3 socks. I even couldn't finish my podcast because I put it together. But when it came time to try to focus and write a description and upload it, too cold. So then, remember I told y'all they were going to be there, was it Wednesday? No. That's what she said. But I already know that they said, well, that area, that's where the conquered people live. They don't get carte blanche. They don't get no fast service or nothing like that. Tell her 7 days. Well, I know that if they had said 7 days for me, I'd have said, you got 7 damn minutes, because I'm calling everybody that I can on your ass, including the newspapers. I will stand out in front of your goddamn building and scream out a microphone, I had a megaphone, don't play with me. But I couldn't do it. It was my daughter. That's how she was handling it. I'm coming from a different old school. I said, let it go. So when they didn't come Wednesday, and we woke up in the morning, she said, Mommy, they said they called me at 12 o'clock and I didn't answer the phone. So when she went upstairs to fight with them, I sit downstairs and I was almost teleported back to New York in a cold ass apartment. I was heating with water in the oven. And right then and there, I remember seeing it on the TV. It said, you call no heat. Because at that time they was burning down houses and firemen and stuff like that. This penal colony is scared of fire. Don't forget that, y'all. So I'm looking at it. But I'm here upstairs and my daughter's upstairs fighting with him. And I just picked up my phone and I Googled no heat. So I didn't call because this is not my house. This is my daughter. I live with my daughter. So I made a snapshot. I took it upstairs. She's on the phone with the gas people. They telling her off. There's this other agency, some gas something agency where they want to know your bank account, your this, your that, your blah, 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 what kind of blood, DNA, how often do you pee in the toilet. And she said finally, I was like, because I gave her the phone number, I was like, ancestors, you go up there. She got that vibe when that man said to her, we're going to come and turn off your gas. And she said, well, how will I wash? How will I eat? How will I do with that? And the gas man said, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Because that's what they do. You're not important. You're in a neighborhood that's zoned for conquered people. We don't have to deal with you like that. Now, if you are a conqueror, something different. So, finally she got the vibe. And she called no heat. And she said, man, that's phone. She said, I don't have no heat. I haven't had heat for 8 days now. The telephone company said she's going to do. And she said some other things. And he said, give me your account number. He said, I'll call you back. And she told him, she said, and now the gas people coming over. They're not coming over to light the pilot. They're coming over to turn the gas off because it's going to get colder. And they know I'm going to heat myself up. So the man from No Heat said, hold on a minute. No, he said, I'll call you back. This my daughter tells me. So they send the gas man over. They get a call. She get a call. Oh, someone's coming over right now. And my daughter said, listen, you ain't coming over here to turn off my gas. That ain't going to happen. So she was outside waiting for him. She was going to meet him up. You ain't turning on my gas. So she meets the guy and she said, I know you ain't do nothing, but you finna get a lot of smoke. You ain't turning off my gas. He said, no, I'm not here to turn off the gas. I'm here because OC, that, like a gas leak. My daughter said, ain't no gas leak here. I just need my pilot lit. So, get a call from the No Heat people, and the No Heat people said, let him do what he's supposed to do. And my daughter said, you ain't gonna turn off my gas. And the No Heat people said, let him do what he's supposed to do. It took him 10 minutes to light that pilot. But he was coming over here. They was going to send somebody until the No Heat people, that's my daughter is assuming, till the No Heat people got a hold of him. And it took him 10 minutes to light the pilot. There was nothing wrong with the furnace. So, I said to my daughter, going from the old school, you don't see things a certain way. She was talking about her blood pressure being up and all kind of stuff. I said, No, we don't look at things the same way. But you see, when I knew that pilot was out and I called, I'd have been hitting that same day. I'd have been hitting. I'd have been calling everybody. Health department. Everybody. 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 Like I said, I'd be in front of the building with a megaphone. Stop playing, bitches. But now she knows. She said, Mommy, you're right. I said, yes, that's what the zoning is for. You don't have to make no mad rush to get over here. Unless it's absolute life and death. Like they said, they smell gas. They didn't smell the gas. Just need the pilot lit. If it would only take you 10 minutes, why wouldn't you send somebody to just strike a match for 10 minutes? Then to send somebody to turn it over. Anyway, squeeze your gut, tuck in your elbow. We got the heat on. Neither up nor down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1 for good luck. So, I told my daughter, she knows she said, he couldn't give her the bill. But I told her the time. He came in at 4. It was like 28 when he left out. Anyway, I told my sister, she said, and he couldn't even give me the bill because he had to run out because there was another emergency of gas leaks. So then I turned to her and I said, I didn't want to tell you to do that because that's like the dirty dog way. But if you would have called last week Wednesday and told them gas leak, we'd have had gas last week Wednesday. I said, everybody don't have a gas leak. But as you see, if we call and say the pilot is out, especially in our Concord zoning area, they're not coming. Just like they used to do if they want the police to come. They used to always say gun until the police came in and started shooting everybody. But the fastest way to get a patty roller out is to say something desperate. And my daughter found out that's the way to do it. You don't want to do it. I say go through the powers that be. But there's some people, you do it like that. So, let's do 5. Tuck in your elbow. 5, neither up nor down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1 for good luck. I really got to do this hip thing, you know? I got to do a hip thing. Thanks for coming on the walk, y'all. Yes. Monday we'll be back to 30 minutes and I'll be back to roller skating. I'll be 66 this month. That little extra 15 minutes on the walk wiped me out so much, I ain't had the roller skating energy and stuff. And also, I was cold. Like, comment, share, tell her uncle, tell her auntie, tell her cousin, tell her friend. Subscribe. Have a wonderful day. And as I tell my daughter, see you when I see you. Thanks for coming on the walk.